bright red cereal, neon orange snacks, electric blue drinks. These colorful foods are a staple of grocery store shelves, and kids love them. But here's the question many parents are asking. Are artificial food dyes safe? In this video, we're diving deep into the truth behind synthetic food coloring. What it is, how it's made, why it's controversial, and what the science says about its impact on your health. Especially for children. If you're a health-conscious parent, or just curious about what you're really feeding your family, stay tuned. You're going to want to hear this. Let's start with the basics. What are artificial food dyes? Artificial food dyes are synthetic color additives used to make food look more vibrant and appealing. They're found in candies, sodas, cereals, yogurt, chips, baked goods, vitamins, even toothpaste. Some of the most common include red 40 ayuda red, yellow 5 tartrazine, yellow 6 sunset yellow, blue 1 brilliant blue, blue 2 green 3, and others. These dyes are made from petroleum-derived chemicals and go through a series of chemical reactions to produce stable, bright pigments that don't fade with light or heat. They're approved by the US FDA, but not without controversy, because despite being generally recognized as safe, growing research, especially since the 2000s, has raised serious questions about how these dyes may affect behavior, development, and long-term health. Let's talk about one of the biggest concerns for parents: hyperactivity and behavioral issues in children. This debate goes back decades, and it started with a pediatrician named Dr. Benjamin Fingold in the 1970s. He suggested that artificial dyes and preservatives might trigger hyperactive behavior in some children. At the time, the idea was dismissed by many experts, but in the past 20 years, multiple peer-reviewed studies have revisited the link, and the results are hard to ignore. In a 2007 randomized trial published in the Lancet, researchers gave children drinks containing common food dyes and sodium benzoate, a preservative. The result? A measurable increase in hyperactivity, even in kids without ADHD. Since then, more studies have shown similar findings, particularly in children who are already sensitive, have ADHD, or are consuming large amounts of dyed foods. In 2021, a landmark report from the California Office of Environmental Health Hazard Assessment concluded that food dyes can negatively affect behavior in some children, especially at high levels. And yet, the FDA still allows these dyes in US food products, while the European Union requires warning labels or bans certain dyes altogether. So if your child is bouncing off the walls after colorful snacks, it's not just sugar, it might be the dye. So, how much dye are we really talking about? According to a 2023 analysis from the Environmental Working Group, EWG, children in the US consume up to 5 times more synthetic dyes per day than they did in the 1970s, mostly from ultra-processed snacks, cereals, and drinks. Some products, like a single serving of rainbow-colored cereal or fruit snacks, can contain multiple artificial dyes in one package. And here's something many parents don't realize. These dyes are often added to foods marketed to children, not adults. In fact, food companies often sell dye-free versions of the same product in other countries, but use dyes in US versions to make them more eye-catching on shelves. Okay, so behavior is one concern. But what about long-term health? Some animal studies have raised red flags about artificial dyes and DNA damage, tumor growth, immune system disruption, allergic reactions. For example, red 3 has been shown to cause thyroid tumors in rats. It's banned in cosmetics, but still allowed in candy and maraschino cherries. Red 40 has been linked to DNA damage and immune system changes in animal studies. Yellow 5 and Yellow 6 have been shown to trigger allergic reactions in sensitive individuals. Now, let's be clear. These studies often use high doses in lab animals, and human evidence is still limited. But that's part of the problem. There hasn't been enough testing, especially on developing children. The bottom line, we just don't fully know what years of exposure to multiple artificial dyes might do over time, especially when combined with other food additives. So if the science is raising concerns, why are these dyes still allowed? The answer lies in regulations and how different countries treat risk. In the US, the FDA continues to approve artificial dyes as generally recognized as safe, based on older studies, some dating back to the 1960s and 70s. Meanwhile, the European Union has taken a more cautious approach. For example, Red 40, Yellow 5, and Yellow 6 are banned or restricted in several EU countries. Many products require a warning label that reads, "May have an adverse effect on activity and attention in children." Companies like Kraft and Kellogg's sell dye-free versions of the same snacks in Europe, while continuing to use dyes in their US products. As a parent, that double standard can feel frustrating. Why should American children be exposed to more chemical additives than their European peers? Let's shift gears to how to spot dyes and avoid them. Here's what to check on food labels. Look for Red 40 Ajura Red, Yellow 5 Tartrazine, Yellow 6 Sunset, Yellow, Blue 1 Brilliant Blue, Blue 2, Green 3, Red 3, and others. They may be listed by number or full chemical name. Sometimes they appear as color added, which is a vague term and not helpful for consumers. Be especially cautious with fruit snacks, yogurts marketed to kids, frosted cereals, sports drinks, ice pops and slushies, vitamins, especially butties, fast food, sauces and buns. Also, don't forget medicine. Many children's chewable or liquid medications contain artificial dyes. So what are the alternatives? Natural food colorings from things like beet juice, turmeric, spirulina, and paprika are becoming more common, especially in organic and health-conscious brands. They're more expensive and sometimes less vibrant, but they're generally considered safer and more parent-friendly. Brands like Anna's, Umath, and even newer mainstream lines now offer dye-free options, and kids still love them. Some schools and daycares have even started banning artificially dyed foods altogether due to behavioral concerns, and parents report positive changes in focus, sleep, and mood. Here's what many health experts now recommend. 1. Read ingredient labels carefully. Learn the dye names and numbers. 2. Limit processed snacks with bright, unnatural colors. 3. Choose dye-free or naturally colored alternatives when possible. 4. Watch for behavior patterns. Does your child act out more after dyed foods? 5. Advocate with your wallet. The more parents demand clean labels, the more companies respond. You don't need to panic or purge every color from your pantry, but being informed helps you make choices based on science, not just marketing. And if you're trying to manage your child's focus, energy, or sleep, removing artificial food dyes might be a good first step. So, are artificial food dyes safe? The short answer is, we're not totally sure. The long answer is, they're allowed. But that doesn't mean they're ideal, especially for kids. From hyperactivity to long-term unknowns, the research suggests it's smart to be cautious, especially when you have better, safer options. Thanks for watching, good to know. If this video helped you think differently about what's in your food, hit that like button Subscribe for more health-focused science, and comment below. Have you tried going dye-free in your family? What's changed? Until next time, stay informed, stay healthy, and stay curious.